Hello YouTube. I'm calling this when Squealer speaks it's time to listen. You might be wondering why I put my previous video up with Glenn Beck talking about food prices. The reason is I consider Glenn Beck to be Squealer. If you don't know who Squealer is, he's basically the mouthpiece in the book Animal Farm. Glenn Beck is, I think, putting out good information, but he's putting it out too late, or he'll leave something out, or he'll put a little twist on it. I have to say he's been coming out with a lot lately that we have been saying for the last 2 years or so. The reason I think it's important to pay attention now is because I do believe that food prices will soar, and I think it will be sooner rather than later. I think the fact that Glenn Beck is putting that out now speaks to the fact that it's coming, and it's coming quickly. I think he's trying to let the little minions know so that later on they can say, well, we warned you about this, even if it was a little bit too late. Or maybe to look like, he's on our side, not their side. I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. But make no mistake, I am not a fan of Glenn Beck. I still watch him, and the reason I watch him is because I think it's important to see what message he's putting out and what he's up to. Please look at the links I've provided before. Argentina in the past had an economic meltdown, such as the one that we are going to see, I think, although ours could be far worse. Theirs has caused them to have 50% poverty level, and I mean crushing poverty. I remember the first fall, or the first inflation issue that Argentina had, I think in the 80s, I think is the one that I'm thinking of. And literally, people would go to the bank, take out money, and by the time they got to the store, they didn't have enough to purchase what they went to purchase. Things were going up so quickly, by the minute. So I think it's important to stock up now. If you haven't started, don't wait. Go out and buy a bag of beans, big bag of beans, lots of bags of beans, and a huge bag of rice at least. Just so you know, rice and beans make a complete protein, as does pasta and beans. So those combinations will give you a complete protein if you don't have other protein available to you. It's time, folks. I think it's really around the corner. If you don't know how to make bread, learn how to make bread. It is so much cheaper. Now, it's hard to store flour because you tend to have more pest problems. And if anybody has some great ideas on that, I am all ears. But the only way I know to do it is to use it quickly or put it in the freezer. And you can't put 100, 200, 300 pounds of flour in your freezer. At least I can't. So if anybody has some ideas about that, I know you can store wheat more easily and grind your own, but that's not always practical. And I personally haven't found a good, cheap source of wheat, although it's probably cheap now compared to what it's going to be. Anyway, I don't want to belabor this point. Please get off your duff, folks. And if you do have any extra left and are thinking of investing in silver or gold, if you haven't already, you may be looking at the prices and saying, well, geez, it's so expensive now, and blah, blah, blah. It's not that expensive, not compared to what I think it's going to be. If you're paying $11 for an ear of corn, what do you think the price of silver is going to be? So anyway, folks, I hope you're getting ready, because I think the storms are coming. Take good care, folks.